One thought I had was to hang upside down and take a selfie. I like telling the stories, the journey creatively with the different pieces that I put together instead of just a talking head. Testing, testing, testing. For the ice. This is like life. Some of it's beautiful. Some of it's a little bit slippery or precarious. It's so nice to have a change of scenery, change of pace. Articulating my thoughts. I was just about, if no one was at that playground, I was going to try to take a selfie picture while hanging upside down on the monkey bars. That sounds crazy. That's a pretty good analogy to the 3 leaps of courage I took 3 years ago. Leaving a job before having something lined up, then going solo, traveling, backpacking by myself in Europe for 3 weeks when I wouldn't have typically done that after leaving a job. And when I got back, deciding it was the right time to cultivate and grow that seed that had been there for many, many years, that someday I would start my own business. So I did. 3 years ago, on April 1st, 2017, started my own business, Regier Educational Services. So these are some of my thoughts, trying to articulate what has been percolating in my mind as I'm reflecting on the last 3 years, looking back, looking ahead, looking at how I'm feeling in the present state of mind. And thank you for checking this out. If you're new to the channel or if you've been along this journey along the way, I truly 100% appreciate you. My name is Patricia Regier. So sharing some thoughts and articulating, sometimes I do that better in writing when I'm just journaling my thoughts than hitting record and unscripted, just trying to share where my frame of mind is. Today I had a couple little conversations on Facebook Messenger with a couple people that really impacted me as well. The one was a client sharing how really helped her with her courage and continuing to tell her story and empowering her. And when I started this journey 3 years ago, so many people said that I was brave. So then what poured out of me at that point was a lot, in my social media posts was positive self-talk and the Intentionally Brave course. And what I would hear from a lot of people is that there's a lot of competition in motivational speaking, and I wouldn't necessarily be able to make a business out of that. Was kind of the messaging I was getting, even though I was impacting people in a positive way and they really appreciated the course and what I was sharing. And someone else this morning, a friend of mine since high school, said that she still sees me as a brave person. And I apologized to her in a message because I felt like I've kind of disappeared a little bit this last year. So many times in my life when I have taken on big things, whether it was going back to school full-time while I was working full-time and had a family, and then life threw a whole bunch of extra at me. And that's fine. I get through. And then when I left my job and starting a business, then life threw some more extra at me. And that's fine. We get through. But I think after I get through those times, sometimes I go into a bit of hibernation, if I'm honest. Still putting myself out there as a business, and we often need to put our best foot forward, even though it's important to be authentic and a little bit vulnerable too. But sometimes I feel like people don't want to hear all the nitty-gritty of struggle because then that doesn't represent me well. So there's this conflicting back and forth of showing the confidence, showing all my expertise, and not maybe it not being the season to share all of the fears of failure and stress and worry that comes with this roller coaster of starting a business, of being an entrepreneur. It's a roller coaster, highs and lows and full speed ahead, and then feeling like full stops. So I thought it was important and time that I did a vlog again and shared some real talk, Trish talks, going back to some of the intentionally brave, inspired leaders or leaders inspired stuff, because it's been a bit of a journey of figuring out who I am and what I'm going to be offering. So I don't regret the intentionally brave stuff through putting that out there, and that's where I was at. I found even more what my genius was, what set me apart, and what I could offer and serve my clients, and that was through helping them reach the variety of learning types through multimedia and different creative ways that they can reach their audience, whether it's employees, participants in a workshop, or in their audience. If they're facilitating or speaking. So through the journey, it wasn't quick, it's not overnight, and I knew that up front, but it's been a journey of even what do I call myself on social media platforms. It wasn't all succinct right off the start, because my starting day one was truly a week or two after deciding this was okay for our next chapter as a family, and then deciding what to call myself and registering it. Very, very quick. I jump in, and we learn a lot when we jump in. So it's been 3 years of learning, growing, seeing how I can serve, and then deciding about 6 months ago to put some of that intentionally brave stuff on the back burner and just really focus on that, reaching the variety in your audience. And I'm really, it's working, it's good. It's really feel like I turned that corner and found my niche, and found who my audience was, even though that's still evolving. And the intentionally brave stuff still comes into play, helping people stretch their comfort zones and even how they facilitate or how they reach the variety, and understand people that learn differently than they learn. So it all fits, it's all been part of the journey. But what I've been feeling is I left a job to get off the treadmill, to start a fresh new freedom type of life. And then building a business, putting out social media content, showing my expertise, it feels sometimes like I've hopped on a new treadmill, that I'm racing towards that line, that I can't take evenings and weekends off, even though I know I should. But I feel like I'm constantly trying to reach that line. And I think part of it was year end, starting a new decade, nearing that 3 years in business. That's a pivotal milestone. When I started this journey, taking small business workshops and seminars, and I'll insert the statistic they told me was how many people would fail and not continue. By the time they got to 3 years, they wouldn't be still in business. And when I'm committed to something, and I know it's not an overnight thing, I'll see it through the unknowns, the lack of income, even if there's revenue to pay for the business. It's a huge risk financially, and in so many ways, and I know it will pay off. But there's real feelings through all of that. It's easy after we get to that level of success where we can say, yes, this is what I felt, and look, hindsight. But when we're in the thick of it, through those years, to still be intentionally brave, to still believe in ourselves and keep going, that's the hard part. And I know this is successful, will be successful, but I'm still in the thick of feeling like I'm proving it to myself and others. Tough love's okay, but I think there's the risk. There's just such a balance. This is where I'm conflicting thoughts as to how real, how vulnerable, because people want to only hire someone that's confident, but they also want to hire someone that's authentic, that understands them as a speaker, as an entrepreneur, and gets it, which I truly do. So it's been a roller coaster, even my thoughts, and even with a clear, good plan, it's work. And I like work. I love what I'm doing. I really, really do. But I just wanted to take an opportunity to try to articulate some thoughts as to where I've been, where and how it's been these coming up to 3 years. And that panic, quite honestly, of nearing that 3-year mark, of wanting to have the calendar full, of having the paychecks just rolling in, and feeling like I really only got started 6 months ago, because the first couple years was figuring some stuff out, getting that foundation going, and trying not to compare myself to other people's success. That is really hard. We're always trying to put out there how great we're doing, and we're all doing great, and I'm so happy for other people. I truly, truly, truly am. But checking myself too, that I don't compare myself, that I don't just stay in that headspace of trying to reach that line, improve, and just be, and get back to some of those roots of how I felt when I was backpacking. Everything I needed was in a backpack, and that freedom, even in the complete unknown, but letting go and not knowing what was next, and just feeling that total freedom and confidence that everything was going to work out. And I'm trying to get a little bit of that back. Last year, I took another solo trip, and if you're interested in those vlogs, I've made them private right now. I've made a lot of videos private, just trying to hone in on the niche on the YouTube channel. But I can share what you want me to share and what benefits you. So if you're interested in that, I can definitely share that vlog series and going through all those thoughts. But this year I wasn't able to take a trip to have that reset. And so I'm finding other ways to reset. And I think, quite honestly, vlogging, getting out in nature and sharing my thoughts helps me a little bit. It's like journaling too. But putting things out, putting the real thoughts out there, is that level of vulnerability. And I think there's a lot of reaching your audience when you're vulnerable, and it's a good thing, but it still feels like a risk for myself. And but I feel that it's an important timing that I put something like this together, of sharing my real thoughts, my real, where I'm at. So I welcome you to join me on live on April 3rd, or to check that out if you're seeing this after the fact. But during that live, I'm hoping people will send me questions ahead of time, and it will be a real sharing, everything from business stuff to multimedia, like whatever you want me to share, or the intentionally brave, or a little bit of my personal professional journey. You let me know what you want to hear from me. And I think that when I feel I'm connecting even more with, as people say, with their tribe, that fuels me for continuing to live my purpose. And my purpose is not just self-serving. So it's been an incredible journey. This is an important, I think, few weeks of reflecting on how far I've come and to celebrate that, not just measure where I want to be, because that measuring stick will potentially always move. But there will be a point where I'll feel like, okay, I can take a big deep breath. And I think I've been feeling a little bit like I've been holding my breath. And I appreciate you being part of this journey, however long you've been part of it. And I just want to thank you and for hearing my thoughts and being interested in what I have to say. So thank you for being part of this. And I hope that you have some light bulb learning moments, that you're able to reach the variety in your audience. And I welcome you to like, share, comment, and it would really mean a lot if you would subscribe. Thanks for checking this out. My name is Patricia Regier with Regier Educational Services, and this is Trish Talks. And until next time. Oh my goodness. I really, really hope I wasn't vlogging that whole time and it wasn't recording. Maybe it wasn't. Shoot. That's the way it goes. We'll see what I got. Man, I really hope that wasn't the case. I'll have to do it again.